Mica Swyers. I'm a graduate student here at U of I in my first year of the Matt Tussle program, which is a master's in teaching English as a second language. I was raised in Richmond, Virginia on the East Coast, about 2 hours south of Washington, D.C. I feel like I had a fairly typical childhood. I don't think that my being Korean ethnically played a very big role in my growing up. I was conscious of being Korean, and my parents have never tried to hide that from me. I've met other adoptees whose parents have been more closed about their adoption. It's never been something my parents kept secret from me. Any information they did know, they did tell me. But I never felt really resentful towards my adoptive parents or my birth parents. I come from a pretty big family, but I don't have any siblings. I'm an only child. I don't remember ever being, like, my parents sitting me down and telling me that I was adopted. I think it's just always been part of my conscious identity. So from a very young age I was aware that I had a birth mom and that she and my birth father were not married, and that I was adopted, and she was approximately 27 when she gave me up for adoption. Actually, last year was about when she was notified of my searching for her, and she said no. And I found this out in the middle of my master's exam for my first master's and cried all through my exam. But eventually I decided that I would be really persistent in pursuing contact with her. So I asked the social service worker at Holtz to send her another letter on my behalf. And I keep a blog every day, just about, like my running and baking and my daily life here in Illinois. So I said, please send her the address of my blog, and she won't be able to read it because it's all in English, but she can at least see like photos of me. So I started noticing on like the site tracker that I was getting a lot of hits from Ulsan. And so I figured there could only be like one person in the world who would find my blog in Ulsan and would be checking it like 6 times a day. So eventually I'd planned a trip to Korea anyway for May of 2010, and the week before I left I got an email that said, we have really good news, your mom has changed her mind and she wants to meet you when you come to Korea. I've never really been angry at her, so maybe I just accepted the ideology that they're doing the right thing and they want the best thing for you. I've never been angry or resentful, so I don't really feel like I need to forgive her. But the first couple emails she sent me were like, I'm so sorry, and I am so embarrassed, and I always say, I'm not angry, and I'm always really appreciative that I've had a fulfilling life here, and I've never, looked at you as a negative part of my life or anything. So.
My name is Choi Hedeen. I'm from Barrington, Illinois, and I'm a junior at University of Illinois. I think when I was younger, I asked questions and stuff, but after that I sort of just kind of didn't want to worry about it, And then once I got to U of I met up with a few other adoptees, and I talked about it with them, which was a lot easier because they share the same background. So I know that my parents were really young. I think they were 18 or 19 years old, and they weren't married. So that's most of the reason why they gave me up for adoption, from what I understand. But yeah, I don't really know anything about my family in Korea. Being around Korean people, it's hard because I don't know the language, I pick up phrases and stuff, but I can't, I would never be able to speak it fluently. I think that would be one of my biggest struggles, being Korean and not being able to speak it, I think is the hardest thing. My name is Charlie Hedeen, and I'm a Korean adoptee.
My name is Mica Swyers, and I am a Korean adoptee.